And by the time the gun comes back down, you should already be at the prepping of the trigger again. Like this. Just like that. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Let's Talk Tactical. I'm back out at the range, and today I'm by myself. Me and Run It Tactical are no longer friends, so y'all go to his channel and unsubscribe. We ain't gonna have that around here, so just go over there, unsubscribe from him, and tell him it's his loss. Nah, I'm playing. He has some business to attend to, so I put a poll up on YouTube asking you guys if y'all wanted to see a shooting fundamentals video or a Radiant Afterburner 1500 round review video. Honestly, I thought it'd be blown out of the water and nobody would want to see the fundamentals video, but quite a few of y'all wanted to. So we're gonna go ahead and make that video today. I know a lot of my supporters out there, y'all already know a lot of this, but I'm gonna make this video because there's a lot of people that don't know. So I'm gonna get loaded up, guys. We're gonna hump.
What did he say?
All right, guys. First of all, we're gonna start off with a unloaded gun. Make sure that your gun is completely unloaded. The best way you do that is, number one, always drop the mag first, because people have made the mistake of just pulling the slide back, ejecting the round, but the gun just loaded another one. So remove the mag first, then make sure there's no round. In my opinion, the number one thing to make you a better shooter is going to be dry fire, dry fire, dry fire. Anywhere, anytime, well, not anywhere, but
you can go to jail, baby girl.
anytime, as much as you can, get this gun in your hands and dry fire. Get to know the trigger. Get to know when it breaks, how it breaks. Get that grip down, so when you present, it's the same every single time. You do it every single day. First, we're gonna start off with a proper grip. I see a lot of people, when they grab a gun, they grab it and they'll have their finger on the trigger automatically. Don't put your finger on the trigger unless you are ready to shoot the gun. Unless you know that gun is pointed at something that you are ready to shoot. So, I'll see them grab the gun, and then a lot of times, you'll see this right here. You don't want that. Whenever you're grabbing the gun, you don't want to see any space in here. You need to go all the way up. So, gun all the way up. You don't want there to be any space back here. Don't worry, the slide is not going to bite you unless you have if you have a really good grip. Same thing with this hand. You do not, same thing on this side. You don't want there to be space right here. You want all the way up, both sides, here and here, all the way up. This section right here is for the meat palm of your hand right here. All that. Perfect right there. Hand wraps around. So this is what it should look like. No space in between anywhere. Thumb forward right here. There's a ledge on these guns, most of them. This area right here is meant for my thumb. I put my hand in there, grip tight. And then I use this thumb ledge to kind of push down just a little bit, but not too much, because you don't want to dip the gun because you're pushing down on the gun. So start off by practicing getting your grip right. All the way up, fingers wrapped around, no space in between. Hand perfectly goes in here, cuffs it. Now, most of your squeezing and recoil control is going to come from your left hand, your support hand, not your trigger hand. You are going to get a tight grip on this thing, but you don't want to get such a grip that you're kind of shaking a little bit after a while. This is what the left hand is for. It holds that right hand, and you squeeze down with that, putting pressure up against this part of the gun right here. Just right in there. And what you need to do is you need to keep doing this as much as you can, practicing your draw. Make sure that if you don't have a red dot, it's okay. Use your iron sights. Make sure that every time you present the gun, that your iron sights are right there. Now, it's not going to be exactly the same for every single person, but it's going to be about the same. So some people might be, you know, like this. Some people might be all the way up high. Some people might be right here, right in the middle. This thumb, it never goes inside, so not like this. This thumb always is on the outside. So for personally me, I have my thumb up like this and pushed up against my slide. Some people like to do it like this. So you just gotta feel it out and see what you like, what's comfortable for you. Now, it's not gonna be comfortable at first, trying out this new grip, but you need to practice, and you need to keep trying and get it to where it becomes comfortable. The second most important thing you need to work on is learning how to prep the trigger. So on most triggers, especially striker fired, actually most all handguns, this is all the take up right here. Once you get to right here, that's what we call the wall. Once you push any further from here, the gun should go off. So right there. So what you want to do is you want to practice with your gun. Make sure the gun's unloaded and get to the wall. Get to the wall. See how much pressure it takes. Break it. The reset. Break. And just keep learning that trigger, because you don't want to, whenever you're shooting a gun, you don't want to start from here and just, because that's going to throw your shot off. It's what we call slapping the trigger. You don't want to...
What? Slap!
See that? You want to get to the wall and then a slow press so that your gun doesn't do any kind of wiggling or anything like that. So you need to practice your prepping the trigger and learning the trigger. Now, one thing a lot of people do that I don't necessarily agree with is you'll see a lot of shooters, they'll shoot, slide and come back, they'll hold the trigger down after they shot, reset it, and then fire again. I don't think you should do that. The first shot, I think you should get to the wall, prep it. Slow pull, gun goes off. By the time the slide comes back, your finger should already be off that trigger and already back at the wall, instead of boom. So that's just my opinion, guys, but those are the main important fundamentals of shooting a handgun accurately. You want that tight, high grip on the gun, because the reason why you want that is because whenever the slide reciprocates, and if you're up high, it doesn't come back as much. But if you're down here, it wants to come up more. Higher you are, less muzzle rise. All right, guys, whenever you are practicing, make sure you are at a gun range or a very safe and controlled environment, like some land with at least 10 acres. And make sure you know what you're shooting at and what's beyond what you're shooting at, because I don't want you guys getting in trouble and doing some stupid stuff. So today we're gonna be shooting at this thing. So we're gonna start off with number 2, and I'm gonna show y'all what it looks like when you don't properly grip the gun and when you don't properly prep the trigger when you shoot. Gun is already loaded. Remember, keep your finger off the trigger until you are ready to shoot. So this time I'm gonna grab it and I'm gonna have a little low grip down like this. But if you see, all the way up here, here, it's not consistent because I don't have control over the firearm. Now, I did exaggerate it a little bit, but I exaggerated for me. For actual amateur shooters, that's probably what it will look like. And if you've ever picked up a handgun for your first time and couldn't hit anything, it's because you weren't gripping the gun right and you weren't pulling the trigger right. So now we're gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it kind of fast, gripping it properly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I had 2, 7, 8, came out a little bit. And that was pretty fast shooting. So you just need to practice. But the way I got as good as I got, honestly, was dry fire. At home, anywhere, and not anywhere, but any way I could, I would dry fire. Because that builds your muscle memory and your trigger finger to get to the point where you know the gun inside and out. When you are using your iron sights, there are going to be the empty middle, and then you're gonna have your front sight. You want to put that sight right in the middle of there, where it's perfectly level up top with these 2 bars, and perfectly center where there's equal light coming on each side of that front sight. And then you want to put what you're aiming at right here at the tip of the target, not where the white dot is. So one thing a lot of new shooters have problems with is they're shooting low and to the left if you're right-handed. And that's because you're over gripping with your right hand, and when you're pulling that trigger, you're slightly pulling it down and to the left. And that's because your support hand isn't doing enough work. You need to really put in there and put that pressure and just lock it in. Lock your wrist forward. So it's all about locking the wrist and having a proper grip and learning your trigger. Remember, slow and smooth. See, a lot of people, the issue is they put too much finger in like this.
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
Or not enough finger in like this. You want to pull the trigger right here, right at the middle part of your finger. You want it to be just like this. And you want to work on having that finger kind of straight, as straight as you can. And you want to work on pulling it straight back. Not to the left a little bit, not to the right a little bit. Pressure pad your finger right there and practice getting to the wall and slowly pulling it straight back. Once you work on that enough, it becomes to the point where you don't even have to think about it anymore. Your muscle memory, everything that you do, it gets to the point where you can start now speeding up your shots. You just need to work on the fundamentals. Getting that draw right, getting your grip right, and pulling the trigger slowly to the rear. And just do that over and over and over again, especially when if you just have iron sights. Now, if you do have a red dot, your red dot will show you how much you are flinching. And you need to try and get it to the point where when you're pulling the trigger dry firing, that the dot or the iron sights, none of it moves at all. So it's just, and it takes some practice, it takes some time. But if you want to become a proficient shooter and you want to be accurate, you're gonna have to put in the time and the work to get to that point. All right, one thing you guys can do that can really help in your training to be a little bit better, if you don't have a holster, I do highly suggest that you get a good holster. But you can either draw from the holster, or you can just hold your gun down low like this, and then put it up. And what you want to do is find your sights. You want to focus, if you have iron sights, you want to focus on the front post. So as the gun is coming up, you want to be already looking at the front post. And then you want to find it in between this back post, the back iron sights. And just practice drawing. Going like that over and over until it gets to the point where you find your sights every time. It just takes practice. And just do that over and over and over. That was a little slow for me. I got a 2.1 at the first draw and shot, and then 252 altogether. So you just gotta practice on that. And it takes time. It took me a year and a half to get to the point where I'm at today. So, and a ton of dry fire. I'm talking tens of thousands of times I pulled this trigger. So, you just gotta work on it. But those are two right next to each other. I'm not anything special, guys. This is literally, you can do the same thing. It just takes practice. There's a lot of people out there that are way better than me, and there's a lot of people out there that aren't. It just depends on how much practice you're willing to put in. Whenever you get the fundamentals down for gripping the pistol and you want to shoot a little bit faster, that's when like I said earlier, I don't like when people pull the trigger to the rear. Here, let me show you. This is what people do. And they'll hold it, and then they'll slowly, and then they'll fire again. I don't think you should do that. I think you should pull the trigger, and by the time the gun comes back down, you should already be at the prepping of the trigger again. Like this. Just like that. So, thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please give me a like and a subscribe if you want to see more of videos like this. If you like the video, guys, please drop a like. If you want to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe button, and we'll be posting every week, getting y'all footage every week of shooting, gun reviews, product reviews, and pretty much everything to a related. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I will catch you guys on the next one.